So the Engl Fireball, or the Engl Meteor as it's called in the Helix, is one of the amps that I've definitely overlooked and not really used for anything particularly beyond today. So I was looking for an amp to do a video on. I checked out some of the Rev amps and I checked out some other things, and I wasn't exactly finding anything that did anything that remarkable to me. But I checked out this Engl Meteor and I found that this thing actually did speak to me a little bit. So basically the amp manual says to start off with everything in the 5 o'clock kind of position. So let's start off from there and see where we get. And I guess fairly importantly, the amp, the cab that I'm using, the 4x12 Cali V30, often you'll see Engl cabs paired with V30s, I think. So that was the reason for the choice there. So here's essentially everything at 5 o'clock. So that's sort of one of the things that the Engl can do. You know, fairly high gain. That sort of stuff, and probably that's more like what you're expecting to hear from this amp, I guess. So the drive all the way up. So I guess I would characterize that as being, you know, a lot of gain and also quite a lot of like treble-y content. So it does say in the manual about using this treble control. It does suggest lower settings to kind of tame things a little bit. And so if I'm doing that, I can take this treble down and then bring the presence back up to kind of bring some of that back. Together work quite interactively. So at the end of the amp controls, we've also got a mid boost, which is on the real amp, and this one's quite important. So I think there's really kind of cool chewy tones to be had there. So that but here's the thing that you might not have expected. This amp can actually clean up really nicely. So I wasn't expecting to find that, but when you take the drive down to about 1.5 like that, you get this really beautiful tone. So yeah, those are the settings that I was using for that. 5.6 bass, 6.2 mids. That treble, like I say, don't be afraid to take that down a little bit lower and bring the presence up to compensate. You get a bit of a different kind of tone for that. And then the mid boost on. So that's the setting at the very end of the amp settings, which is kind of quite an important one. But yeah, the Engl Fireball, not really an amp that I'd considered checking out before today, but I think definitely worth a look. A great sounding amp. Not just for heavy stuff. So yeah, feel free to check that out. I'll drop this preset into the folder which I'm going to use to make the intro now, and also put together some kind of other snapshots with it and some other effects. But hopefully you dig that, and feel free to check out the Engl Meteor if you liked any of the tones in this video. I think you should find it fairly easy to get those things happening. I'm also using this low-high shelf to give like the bass boost. There's a bass boost option on the amp itself, so this is giving you a 6.2 dB kick in the 150 Hertz region just before the cab. So feel free to try that out, and I'll catch you in another video soon. If you want to like and subscribe, you could. Cheers.